Hello and welcome to 321 exam. It is another time again with you, and I am so delighted to be here with you on this very day. Our topic today is a very important aspect of the English grammar, and that aspect is so broad that it would require us to pay very close attention to all we shall be doing today because it is very important. We shall be looking at Concord, and as we know, Concord is a very sweet topic of the English grammar. We shall be looking at the meaning of Concord. We shall be looking at the rules of Concord as well as examples for each of the rules. Examples for each of the rules. So let's begin. What is Concord? Concord is simply an agreement. But this agreement is actually between the subject and the verb, or the verb and other elements in a sentence. Simply, it has to do with a possible and a proper and appropriate arrangement of words in a sentence. Okay? So if there is no agreement, even the Bible says in Isaiah 18:18, come, let us settle the matter. That means man must agree with God so that we could actually have a good resolution in the end for us to settle our issues, for us to settle the matter. Okay, so concord simply refers to an agreement between the subject and the verb, or between the verb and other elements. The element could be an object. So it could be between the subject and the verb, or the verb and the object in a sentence. So we take it down as concord is the agreement between the subject and the verb in a sentence. That means if the verb that follows the subject does not agree with it, therefore that sentence is ungrammatical. Okay? Or if the subject is plural and the verb is singular, that means that sentence has an error. And so we need to look out for some of these little errors. And that is why we shall go through the rules, all the rules guiding the word combination, guiding the combination of subject and verb in their many instances. Okay? It is also the agreement between a verb and other elements in a sentence. In a sentence. So, there are over 20 rules of Concord, and we shall be going through about 24 of them. And rule number 1 is the subject and verb concord. The subject and verb concord. It says that when the subject of a sentence is in the singular form, the verb should also be in the singular form, and vice versa. So it means singular verb and singular subject goes with singular verbs, and plural subject go with plural verbs. So that's the simple thing. And we could have examples like he eats is breakfast. You can see he, which is singular, followed by a verb, eats, which is also what? Singular. Please do not forget that for verbs, they take s marker to become singular, but for nouns, they take s marker to become plural. So he eats his breakfast. Eat is singular, he is singular. What if we change he to they, more than one, to make it plural? What are we going to have? Is it they eat? Is this what we are going to have? No. Instead, we shall have they eat their breakfast. Eat is plural. This other it here is singular. So looking at these two examples, you discover that the singular subject goes with the singular verb, while the plural subject goes with the plural verb. Let us look at other examples. We can take example 3. Ali and Simbi are friends. Ali and Simbi, they are more than one, so they take the plural. Ali and Simbi here is plural, and the verb here is also what's plural. Okay, can I have another example from anybody? My dog is barking. You have one dog and you have is. So you have singular and what? Singular. Is that clear? So just know this at the back of your mind, that a singular verb goes with follows a singular subject, and a plural subject goes with a plural verb. Rule number 2. This is called the subject and object concord. The subject and object concord. It says that when everybody and everyone is used, the object and the verb should be singular, not plural. Please underline that. When you see everyone and everyone, everybody and everyone, just know that the object and the verb must be singular. For example, everyone has his mathematical sets, not his mathematical sets, no. Or everybody knows his works, no. Everybody knows, singular, his work, not his works. Please, let us take that into consideration. So when you see everybody and everyone in any sentence, wherever, just know that the verb that will follow everyone must be singular, and the object must be singular as well. Everyone eats his food. Everyone eats. Everybody knows my name. Singular followed by everybody. Okay? Everybody knows my name. So let's look at rule number 3. Rule number 3 is the mandative subjunctive concord. The mandative and subjunctive concord. Please pay attention to this. It says that when a wish or a prayer or a suggestion or demand, recommendation or solution is used in a sentence, the verb must be plural, whether the subject is singular or plural. when you make a wish or you make a prayer or a suggestion or a demand, whatever it is you do, just know that the verb must be plural. The verb must be plural. Maybe you're walking and you say, hey, God bless you, God bless you. The verb there is bless. Not God blesses you. No, God bless you. Bless is in the plural form. Or what some of you will say, very funny, very derogatory, when you say God punish you. Not God punishes, you say God punish. Okay? Punish is in the plural form. Alright? So let's take examples. It has been suggested, uh, please underline it clearly. Prayer, suggestion, wish, demand, recommendation, resolution. When any of this is felt or seen in a sentence, that sentence must go with a plural verb. Now let's take examples. It has been suggested that she buy. She is singular. She is supposed to go with a singular verb. But because of that law, that rule, that states that if it's a suggestion, it should go with a plural verb. The director has recommended that the salesman travel. Travel, not travels. Please, you need to pay serious attention here. Remember, rule number 1 was about subject and verb. Singular verb, singular subject. Plural subject, plural verb. But now, the tide is changing because there's a condition given. So if it is a prayer, a wish, a suggestion, a resolution, a recommendation, or a demand is given, please ensure that the verb that accompanies it is a plural verb. I pray that God help, not God helps. This is a prayer. This is a prayer. This one is a recommendation. This one is a suggestion. Okay? So, you see now that in these examples, those subjunctives were actually touched. Suggestion, recommendation, prayer. So I think we could have one more example. Let's say a wish this time. Should be number 4. Let's say, may the good Lord bless and keep you. So already we know this is a wish. Now let's look at this sentence very well. What are the verbs? Verb number 1. Verb number 1 here is bless. What is the verb number 2? Verb number 2 is keep. Is it singular or plural? Both verbs are plural verbs. Both verbs are plural verbs. Okay? So, how about the subject? The subject is Lord. Is it singular or plural? It's actually singular. So you see now that this rule negates rule number 1. Okay? This rule negates rule number 1. Let's see if we can have a 5th example. It was resolved that the it was resolved that the worker leave this department. It was resolved. It's a resolution. So this one is a resolution that the worker leave this department. So leave here is plural. And who is the subject? The subject is worker, which is singular. Okay? It may sound wrong. Probably somebody will be telling me, no, sir, this should have been leaves. But on the rule of the mondative subjunctive, you just have to leave it the way it is. It must be in the plural form. Let's move to the next rule. Rule number 4. The principle of proximity. The word proximity simply refers to nearness. Okay? Nearness. Relation, the degree of nearness. How close. How close, okay? The principle states that when there is a list of nouns or pronouns at the level of the subject, it is the nearest noun or pronoun to the position of the verb that will determine the choice of the verb. You have plenty nouns or plenty pronouns. The closest to the verb tells us the type of verb that should be there, whether singular or plural. So if that one is singular, the verb becomes singular. If it is plural, the verb becomes plural. Let's look at this. If Peter does not do well in his studies, his teachers, his friends, or Peter dash to blame. On a normal situation, we would have just said, or Peter are to blame, because all these were mentioned. But in the real sense of it, you just tell me everything this way. Everything is plural. So if you tell me it's plural, I won't doubt you, because it's teachers, plural, friends, plural. Or Peter, we have two plurals over one singular. So the plural should dominate, okay? But if you look closely, it says that the closest determines the verb. So since Peter is the closest, our verb will become is. All right? Peter is singular. Is also what? Singular. Let's look at this other example. Whether it comes or not, his father mother or I. Dash to blame. Whether it comes or not, his father, mother, or I dash to blame. It is I that determines the type of verb that will be in this sentence. So I, what kind of verb does I go with? I am to blame. Remember, this sentence is in the present tense. So for no reason should you move it to a past tense. So I goes with am. Am is singular. I is also what? Singular. Is that clear? Let's look at another example. If James fails his examination, his friends, his parents, or his teachers, or I, already we had something like this in the previous one. You already know that the answer is what? Am. Let's look at rule number 5. Many are Concord. So we shall take it from there in our next lesson. Thank you. With this, we come to the end of this lesson. See you in the next.